and they need him to do it this week. So, Paris, hopefully you can stay healthy and live up to all the expectations that people have been trying to put on you for the past 3-4 years, bruh.
Okay, my guy is going to be Alan Lazard. We thought he had a chance to play an opening week, couldn't make it, got that foot stepped on in practice, couldn't go. Alan Lazard has been hyped all offseason. I've been a small part of that, but so has Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has been talking him up like crazy. Obviously, Davante Adams out of the mix. That left something like 240 vacated targets among receivers for Green Bay. Lazard expected to see a huge workload. This should happen right away. He is a giant human being. He's 6'5", got good hands. He's not the same separator that Davante Adams is, but he does have rapport with Aaron Rodgers, and whew, wow, does Aaron Rodgers need a familiar target right now. Had 34 pass attempts last week, only 195 passing yards, no touchdowns. So he needs Alan Lazard back in a big way, and I'm expecting a big week from Lazard immediately, yes. We're going to keep monitoring these storylines and see how these players bounce back moving forward.
Those are your comeback players for week 2, presented by Leqvio and Glycerin. To learn more about Leqvio, talk to your doctor and visit leqvio.com.
Oh, we are back in the sports book. It's comfy, it's cozy in here, and thank God we've got Minty to give us the bets of the week in the Sunday night and Monday night games. Minty, I think you're going to surprise some people with a few of these here, so let's get it kicked off with your first one from Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, okay, my first one is going to be Justin Fields over 35.5 rushing yards. Now, Fields flew over this total in both his matchups against Green Bay last season. He rushed the 7th most yards for a quarterback in week 1 and the 5th most for a quarterback last season. I think he should easily hit this over. I mean, not only is he mobile because he's young, but he's mobile because his O-line still needs a little work. So I like the over here.
Yeah, when Aaron Rodgers is dropping a hammer on the Bears on Sunday Night Football, Justin Fields can be running around in garbage time there, racking up these rushing yards. Love that call here. This next one, Minty, you have no idea how badly I need this to come true, and come true by a lot. So please, give me some good news on Aaron Jones here.
Okay, well, I hope I'm here to bring good news. Aaron Jones over 29.5 receiving yards. Nathaniel Hackett mentioned that he wants his running backs to be more involved in that pass game. Last week, Jones recorded 27 receiving yards, so to see it set at essentially 30 yards this week is telling of how Jones will improve in this game. Against Chicago last year, he's hit 30 receiving yards or higher in each meeting, so we're going to see Rodgers utilize Jones a little more in this game.
Yeah, Minty, I'll take the over on amount of times I have to vomit if Aaron Jones does not get more than 30 receiving yards in this game, because I took him in so many fantasy leagues. Let's move to Monday Night Football, and we'll stick on this one here. Give me, I think this one's from the Titans-Bills game. Yeah. So give me your first one from that game. Oh, wait, 2 Monday Night Football games. Come on, it's a little too early for that. Give me your first one.
2 Monday night. 2 Monday Night Football games, and I have to tell you, I have a Monday night wedding to go to tomorrow that starts at 5. So I'm actually pretty upset that I accepted this invitation. But yeah, for the first game between the Titans and the Bills, we're going Ryan. Yeah, I know. We're going Ryan Tannehill to throw an interception at -140. It's a little juiced here because, I mean, he didn't throw an interception yet in week 1, but the Bills defense, they've already recorded 3 picks this season, and last season they recorded the 3rd most interceptions. Tannehill seems to be regressing here. In 2021, he had 14 interceptions, which is a lot compared to the seasons prior at 7, 6, and 9. So I like Tannehill to throw an interception for Monday Night Football.
That's 3 straight overs for the record with Minty here in this
I
game.
cannot
So we
believe
know,
it.
We know what this next one's going to be. Minty, give us your next pick in the second Monday night game.
Yeah, we're going with A.J. Brown under 5.5 receptions made. It's still a little weird that A.J. Brown is on the Eagles to me because I thought I was choosing a game between the Titans again. But anyway, Philly.
It messed my brain up too, reading it as well. I was like, oh, you're right. He's on the Eagles.
Yeah. Philly, they were dead last in pass play percentage last season, and coming into this season, they're still a run-heavy offense. 5.5 catches is a lot for A.J. Brown. Last week, he had 10 receptions, but that was against Detroit. He's only gone over this total 4 times all of last season, so I am pretty confident in the under here.
All right, pretty confident. How about you give us your lock of the week, Minty?
Okay, lock of the week. This is also the most bet game at MGM this week. It's the Bucks and the Saints. I'm going under 44 points. Now, Tampa averaged less than 14 points per game their last 4 regular season games against New Orleans. The Bucks offense, they're not as explosive as they used to be, and both sides are a little banged up coming into today's game. So both defense will really have to step it up here. So the under is the only play that I see fit here, and this is honestly the only game I like this week.
I love this call. The Bucks are all kinds of banged up, and the Saints have had the Bucks numbers since Tom Brady has gotten there. Minty, thank you so much for those. Love a lot of those. And again, Aaron Jones, please let Minty be right on Aaron Jones. You people out there can get in on the action. New users at BetMGM can take advantage of a special offer this Sunday. Bet $10 on any game. Yeah, any game, and you will win $200. Sign up today at betmgm.com/YahooVIP.
Oh, Minty Bets, huge Bears fan, taking the over on Justin Fields. You love to see it. It is Make Your Pick time here on FFL, where we assist a few viewers with their messiest sit-start decisions. Let's see what the people are asking. Devon asked the first question. Ask FFL, full PPR league, pick 2 of Josh Jacobs, Cordero Patterson, Allen Lazard, Jeff Wilson. These are also some of the buzziest names of week 2. Tank, which 2 are you going with?
Well, we don't have any stats to justify, but we both need it to happen in our lineups. Allen Lazard, I'm going with him. He's one of them because we just need to make that happen. And what is my nickname for Cordero Patterson? It's Corduroy. And what do they say about Corduroy? You can start a fire with those. And I understand he has a really tough matchup against the Rams, but he's going to be heavily involved in that matchup, whether it's, carries in the rush game or targets in the pass game. So I feel pretty comfortable about what his floor would be, especially when you compare it to what Josh Jacobs may give you, or if Shanahanigans is afoot with Jeff Wilson and whoever else the 49ers may throw out there to run the ball with Elijah Mitchell on the shelf.
All right. Harmon knows it's coming. Let me just defend the honor of Josh Jacobs here for a second. Dominated workload last week, easily dominated the workload. He gets an Arizona defense that was not even competitive in opening week. So I'm personally guaranteeing a touchdown from Josh Jacobs. Don't listen to Tank on this one. Jacobs over Patterson, and I need it with Lazard. Joseph is asking, pick 2 in a PPR league. It's Robert Woods, it's Zay Jones, it's Sterling Shepard, it's Russell Gage. This could be a better collection of receivers. If I'm picking 2, I'll probably start with Russell Gage. He's going to play this week. We don't think that Julio Jones is going to go. Godwin also out for Tampa Bay. So we're down to basically Russell Gage and whatever Mike Evans can do for that team. So it's going to be Gage for me. I don't think I can trust Bob Woods after opening week. Barely targeted, didn't make much fantasy noise. I think I like Zay Jones here against Indy. Zay Jones saw a ton of targets. Trevor Lawrence, 275 yards in a week in which he left some stats out there on the field. So I'm going to go Zay Jones there. Tank, do you disagree with any of that?
Nope, that Bobby Tree got cut down. I thought Robert Woods may do something last week, but he didn't. But I'll add just this nugget for Russell Gage. Like, whenever the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play the Saints, it's a similar flow where you're going to have Marshawn Lattimore that's covering Mike Evans, and then usually they abuse the Saints defense through the slot. Like Rev said, there's no Chris Godwin right there. Russell Gage is going to be that dude. Julio is out with the knee. He's out this game. So Russell Gage is going to get peppered. It may be a low-scoring affair, how Minty and those guys were talking in the last segment, but if it's PPR, you can count on him getting a lot of targets and a lot of receptions.
Yep, like that call. Let's see our next question here on Make a Pick. It is Lunar Tick asking, full PPR, need a wide receiver and a flex. McLaurin, Hollywood Brown, Darrell Henderson, Josh Jacobs. Okay, Tank, I'm going to give you another chance to pick Josh Jacobs. Go.
Well, one thing we just got to get out of the way early. Who is Terry McLaurin playing against this week? Ooh. The Detroit Lions. Yeah, so that's an automatic clack, clack, clack. That's a lock right there. And so actually, I don't mind Marquise Hollywood Brown right here. I don't mind Darrell Henderson. I don't mind Josh Jacobs. The only thing with me, I understand that he got the lion's share of that workload, but it wasn't a whole lot of carries. I think Darrell Henderson is that guy in LA right now, even though they may sprinkle in Cam Akers a little bit more. But the matchup against Atlanta and the simple fact that they need to bounce back after getting their tails whooped against the Bills, and they just had the stew on that since last Thursday. So I'm going with Darrell Henderson, and I'm going with Scary Terry.
Yeah, I don't mind those calls. We like all these options, actually. This looks like a win for you this week. All right, let's send it now to Matt for some last-minute sleepers.
Yeah, if you don't have the benefit of picking between all of those good options, how about I give you a couple of weird options to take, starting with rookie wide receiver Kyle Phillips, man. I said this on the Yahoo Fantasy Football Forecast all off season. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast, by the way. Kyle Phillips, like, he was the real winner of the great Treylon Burks wars. You know, everybody's getting all upset about, hey, you can't report that Treylon Burks isn't running with the first team. That's just the same as Justin Jefferson dropping passes last year. No, it's not the same. Nobody cares about that. What we do care about is the fact that Kyle Phillips, all throughout the offseason, there was a steady drumbeat that he was running with the first team, that he was going to get legit action as a rookie. That came to fruition in week 1. 9 targets in week 1. He gets those little layup routes when he runs out of the slot. He can also play as a flanker in 2 receiver sets. I think Kyle Phillips is legitimately good. I do think the Titans are maybe not so legitimately good, and they might get whooped by the Bills on Monday Night Football, but some of those little pop gun passes while Ryan Tannehill's under pressure by that great Buffalo Bills front, I think Phillips can catch a few passes, especially if you're in like a full PPR format. I really like Kyle Phillips as a desperation play. One guy, I don't know how good at football Greg Dortch is, but I know he's getting a lot of opportunity for the Arizona Cardinals. While Rondale Moore is out, they basically took him and put him kind of in that role, right? He took 84% of his snaps from the slot. He tied Hollywood Brown with a team-high 42 routes. Yeah, that's good stuff. The slot receiver in the Arizona Cardinals offense. Also, let's not forget that the Raiders, the Cardinals' Week 2 opponent, got absolutely punished in the slot by the Chargers in Week 1. Keenan Allen was about to erupt in that game. 4 catches, 4 targets, 66 yards in Week 1 right away. Then he gets hurt. Oh, then his backup as the slot receiver, the speed slot guy, DeAndre Carter, comes out of nowhere to rip up the Raiders from the slot. So if you're desperate, look, if you got to start Greg Dortch in Week 2, your fantasy season's already not off to a good start. You're in some fantasy pain. But I do think if you're desperate, there's at least some matchup-based reasons to go with Greg Dortch. Speaking of fantasy pain, NFL players, they're just like us. Some of them hate playing fantasy football because it's rough. We just talked to Cam Jordan on a recent episode of Eckler's Edge and about his fantasy pain, and oh my gosh, he was really feeling it.
My boys were doing a fantasy league, and I think like it was a lot on the line. It was like, you know, it wasn't even monetary. It was like if you're the bottom tier, you have to like go eat at like Waffle House or something like that. And it's like it was like a lot of waffles. It was like an inordinate amount of waffles. It was like 15 waffles, 16 waffles, right? Or you had to spend, it was like an hour, somewhere in there. It was like 8 or 9 hours you had to spend in Waffle House. In like just sitting in Waffle House, you know, like looking like a real creep. Not like, hey, I'm coming in at 2:00 in the morning. No, like we're coming in at 3 p.m. and you're gonna stay here till darn near midnight. Nah,
so, all these waffles, man. That's one thing that I've actually learned more because I haven't been in fantasy for very long, probably 3 years now. And you know, being in first is great, but I've heard not being last is actually what you're playing for a lot of these guys.
I'm fighting not to be last.
You want your sports news in more than just a few characters? With the help of a bunch of different characters?
You play better than me, I'll respect this like you.
He beat us, yes. I'm not a ball player. Prince had hops.
Hosted by everyone's favorite character.
Only time will tell if that's a lie or a big-ass lie.
You're Calais Campbell's brother, so Calais got the most sacks that he has is on me.
Give us 2 minutes and we'll give you The Rush. Weekday mornings on Yahoo Sports.
I'm Minty Betts, joined by Jared Quay and Pam Maldonado, and we're here to give you our best bets of the week. It's time for some Sunday Night Football. Monday Night Football takes place in Vegas, baby. Jared, let's start with you. What is your pick for this game?
I'm picking not to watch it. I don't know. I'm not liking either of these teams, but for some reason I got a feeling the under's gonna hit.
I love both of your bets, so hopefully mine isn't the one that ruins it for us 3.
I like the over, and I'm not gonna mess with sides here.
Thought you were a fan of the Raiders. This is supposed to be the Minty versus Jared game.
I'm not gonna look stupid and lose. I think I'm gonna go with the over.
Stand by your team. Stand by your team, Minty.
All right, just moments away from kickoff. Let's get to as many social media questions as we can. We will start with Micho Cinco. 2-quarterback league, and I lost Dak to injury. Oh, man, that's rough. I have to pick between either Geno Smith or Cooper Rush. Matt, make the choice for him.
Oh, God, do I have to?
Good luck to you.
I mean, I guess I'm going to go Geno Smith, right? Like, that wasn't exactly a sexy performance from Geno, but it was steady. It was nice to see. I mean, God, like Geno against the 49ers defense or Cooper Rush against the Bengals, I guess I'll go Geno, but good luck to you, pal.
There it is, full-throated endorsement of Geno Smith from Matt Harmon. You'd love to see it. Okay, Brandon is asking in a PPR league, Deontay Johnson or Rashad Penny. Both great options, obviously. Tank, who do you like?
Oh, man, I like Deontay, even though you got Mr. Trubisky throwing the ball to him, but he's getting peppered. Rashad Penny has a really tough matchup against the Niners. It's going to be wet. It's going to be sloppy, and I feel like that Niners defense is going to come out hungry. We always say it, whenever Mr. Trubisky plays, just, hey, turn off the game, go have some drinks, get some good food, come back, and then everything should be fine, and hopefully the same is true for Deontay Johnson at the end of this game.
Oh, boy.
I actually find it really fun to watch Mitch Trubisky when he's not the quarterback for my team. I'm enjoying it a lot. This has been a great experience. Nancy Doll is asking Buffalo or Cleveland D. Well, that's a fine question. First of all, you shouldn't be sitting on 2 defenses in any fantasy league. Buffalo, of course, has a good matchup this week. I will say Cleveland, like for this first month of the season, it's great. Matchup this weekend is great. It's the Jets. I'd probably look to exploit that for another couple weeks. But again, you don't need to mess around with 2 defenses. Either one of these teams, perfectly fine. Let's see what's next here. We've got, I'm not even, Musman 80. Can there be 79 other Musmans? I doubt it. Full PPR, Mooney, Cooper, or Curtis Samuel. Oh, I'm going to give this to Harmon so he can either pick for or against Curtis Samuel.
Oh, man. It's so funny. Like, any question you get with Amari Cooper at this point, it's like, no, not Amari Cooper. I mean, no thanks. Definitely not taking the guy who didn't see, like, DPJ, 11 targets in week 1. If that's going to happen, Cooper is basically going to be almost completely unplayable. So it is between Mooney and Samuel, and man, Tank, you got me all fired up about the Wentz wagon going into Detroit. Even if the Wentz wagon's got a few wobbly wheels there, and I love my guy Curtis Samuel. I was ready to say Darnell Mooney, but I've got Tank on my shoulder here saying, Detroit Lions, they stink. This game's going to be fun for fantasy. So I will go with Curtis Samuel, especially in a full-point PPR format. That guy's just going to get layup target after layup target all year long.
There we go.
Yeah, I love it. That feels like the right call. Definitely feels like the right call. Let's take another question here from Kenny. Tank, I'm going to send this to you. Zeke or Cordero Patterson? Who do you like?
Oh, man. I'm going with my boy Corduroy. I mean, all offseason we've been talking about how much, is Tony Pollard going to get into Zeke's share. And I understand with the Cowboys being so banged up that they have to use both of them. But, yeah, the Cowboys are banged up. Like, Cooper Rush is starting at quarterback, so what does that mean? That means opposing defense is going to stack up against the run. Make sure you can't run the ball and make Cooper Rush beat you, which he's not going to be able to do. So, man, this is Corduroy. Even in a tough matchup, he had a tough matchup against the Saints last week, and he still went off. So I really like him in almost any spot because you can use him in a running pass game.
A lot of Cooper Rush conversation on this show. You love to see it. Not every show can give that to you. Matt, what is cooking in the chat right now?
Oh, man. Well, we've got a lot of good questions here in the chat. And I will say, by the way, Tank, another thing you're in my head about is the fact that you said the corduroy thing and the starting a fire. And I did wear my corduroy shorts to the office today. So you're definitely going to be in my head about
that. They're pretty warm, aren't they?
Out of here. Yes, oh, yeah, baby. It's warm. It's hot out there. All right. This first one, we've got Zach Zilch asks us, Amari Cooper, DK Metcalf, Curtis Samuel, or Drake London. Like I just said, I'm really not interested in starting Amari Cooper if he's not going to like dominate the thesis of the Amari Cooper play was he's going to dominate the target share in Cleveland. Even if it's not efficient volume, it's going to be volume, man. That didn't really happen in week 1. Pretty nervous about that. Don't know that I love DK Metcalf getting the old school Jarvis Landry treatment with like 7 catches for sub 40 yards. Yikes. So you guys know I love Drake London. I'm going Drake London here. The other option, it's between DK Metcalf and Curtis Samuel. I think you probably have to play DK Metcalf. Andy, Tank, do either of you guys disagree with me here?
I don't think you have to. I think you stick to your guns. Curtis Samuel is your boy. And we see the kind of game script that may go down in Detroit where this could be another shootout. Like, hey, and it's going to be sloppy. And San Francisco is not going to be the monsoon that we saw in Chi-Town, but it's going to be sloppy. Stick to your guns, dog. Curtis Samuel, your boy.
You're right.
Yeah,
us Scott Turner fans, too. There are dozens of us, Andy. There are dozens of us that are Scott Turner fanboys. He is cutting it up in that offense in Washington. Are you with us, Andy?
Yeah, I am definitely playing Curtis Samuel there. You love the usage in week 1. Also, how about almost no yardage for DK Metcalf on all those targets a week ago? Just really strange usage for somebody who gets downfield like few others.
And understand we probably just buried Curtis Samuel with all of us getting all hype on. He's going to probably have like 2 targets and no carries this week or something like that.
Just as long as he doesn't get hurt. As long as he doesn't get hurt, that's all that matters.
Touche.
Yeah, that right there would be a victory. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Fantasy Football Live. Thanks for kicking off your season with us. Remember to check back in here every Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and keep up with the latest analysis, daily content, our podcast, and of course, updated player rankings at Yahoo Fantasy. Good luck to all your squads in week 2, and we will see you next week.